we were working on naming you that we were thinking of Jennifer. So, thank you for inviting us to come share with you. I think we have something that hopefully you'll like to learn. If you are a Twitter person, I'm on Twitter a lot. In fact, I can tell you some stories from Twitter, but the hashtag is just look11. So if you want to tweet out, even do some questions, someone's going to monitor the Twitter hashtag. Feel free to ask questions on the Twitter hashtag. Katie and I are going to then matriculate to different rooms and have a chance to chat with you guys individually, so we'll have a chance to just answer lots of your questions. So, without said, hey, Katie, I have an idea.
What's your idea?
You know, we came here to Wisconsin. I know in Wisconsin that their legislature really, really values education.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's been all the news that they think it's really, really important. So I was wondering, what if we were to, like, I made videos, right? What if we, got a contract and, made it like a reality TV show?
So you think you can teach?
Yeah. So you think you can teach? I wondered, we need some judges. So I was thinking we get some 8-year-olds.
Oh, good idea.
Maybe they could sit out in the audience and get some buzzers, maybe? What do you think? And we need some contestants.
Okay.
What do you think we should get?
I don't know.
Here's a guy called Walker.
Okay.
Scott Walker. Yeah, so maybe he could come up and he has to teach him. And if he's boring, then they can buzz him. He's got 3 minutes to impress the 8-year-old. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah, what do you think? I think it's a good idea. What do you guys think? Good idea? I think maybe Arnie Duncan, we think you're going to come to it. A lot of people I bet you guys can think of some other people. Hey, I believe in teaching. I believe in teachers. I've taught for a couple of years. I started teaching in 1986. I've taught for 24 years in the classroom. I was a classroom science teacher. I taught in the inner cities of Colorado. I taught in the suburbs of Denver. And then I moved to the mountains of Colorado and taught a small rural town in Colorado. Colorado understands some of the issues that I think Wisconsin is struggling with. In Colorado, a lot of the funding issues are very bad in education as well. So Colorado, in fact, funds their schools. They are they're 47th in funding of schools in America. So I get the whole thing, and I'm sorry you guys have gone through what you had. So in the last year and stuff. So presently, I actually just moved my family across the country. On Twitter, I found a job. I wasn't really looking for one, or just a job found me. I'm now the lead technology facilitator, which is a big fancy word. I teach teachers how to use technology to be integrated for a school district in the Chicago area. So we just live in Chicago. So hopefully we can share some stuff with you that you guys will like. So, so as we start this, I want to just kind of ask you a question. Have you ever sat in this classroom?
In 1930, Congress controlled the House of Representatives in an effort to alleviate the effects of the Great Depression, passed the tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? The Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly the same amount of revenue as at this point. This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
All right, maybe a better question. Not only have you ever sat in that classroom, but have you ever been that teacher? I taught for 25 years. And in the first 20 years, I was a stand and deliver teacher. I stood in front of my kids, and I did the chalk talk at first. And then I got the overhead talk. Then I got the PowerPoint talk. And then 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I said, we've got to do something different. I think I was probably a pretty good presenter. My kids were interesting. I was an engaging person. That said, and there's a better way. All right? And so those years, serendipity had it that I moved to this little mountain town, and I met this guy right here who couldn't be here today. Aaron, we usually do this together, but I got somebody better than Aaron. So the tall guy on the screen is Aaron, and he and I came up with the idea of the flipped class. We'll kind of give you kind of a story of how this happened. Over a few years, we lived at the base of Pikes Peak. As Pikes Peak in the background, the Woodland Park Panthers was our school mascot up there. In there. So I'm here to talk about the flipped classroom. But before I talk about the flipped classroom, I need to tell you that there is no such thing as the flipped classroom. When I say that, notice the is capitalized, because what we developed and has spread, frankly, all over the world, is not just our model. What we have done has been copied and so modified in so many different ways that it's unbelievable. And most of you hopefully had a chance to read Aaron's article. This article right here that's referenced on the slide here, that there is no such thing as the flipped classroom. There are many different iterations of the flipped classroom. So I want to talk about that. So before we talk about this, I want to just give you kind of a brief vocabulary lesson. When we first started making these, this was not called the flipped classroom. We didn't know what to call it. It was just an idea that a couple of teachers had, and we were trying to do what was best for our kids. That's what it was. So we called them podcasts. Podcasts? Well, if you don't know what podcasts is, we made these videos. But then somebody said, well, you don't really have podcasts because they're videos. Podcasts are audio, so they're called vodcasts, video podcasts. We said, okay, so these are vodcasts. So then we called it precasting, and then somebody started saying, well, we'll call it reverse instruction. And then about a year and a half ago, Daniel Pink, I don't know if you know Daniel Pink, he wrote the book Drive, great, amazing speaker and whatnot. He came up with he came and coined the term the flipped classroom, and that has obviously stuck in the last year and a half. So just, if you hear that, then that's kind of what's going on. So let me just talk you through, in the last 6 years that we've been flipping our classes, we actually have had 5 different models of the classroom, and so you can kind of see them. I want to kind of walk through that progression, and I'm going to let Katie talk a little bit because she can explain. One of the reasons Katie's up here is because for the past 2 years, while she was my student in my class, small rural school, right? You don't have the luxury of just, you get your own child, that's the way it is. And she can explain to you what it was like to be a student in the flipped classroom.